Is there, you mentioned you like strategy. Something that I've kind of noticed though when I talk to people though is there's a particular part of strategy they are more or less, I guess, passionate about. Like there's something that they feel is commonly overlooked or something that like has been more personal to them, like in their understanding. Do you feel that there's any part of poker strategy this is true for you about?
I value all things equally, actually, I would say. Maybe something that's less straightforward, I would say, is the performance aspect of poker. And now people are like, fuck, we want to talk strategy. But I mean, the performance aspect, is like that kind of determines how much of the technical knowledge you're able to implement at the tables. And I've always seen poker as like half technical, half performance related. And then in performance related, I would also include mental game, mindset, etc. Because, these can be performance blockers, so to speak, right?
Sure. What parts of performance do you find interesting, or how have you worked on it yourself? Like,
I mean, and honestly, anything where the rabbit hole goes, I find interesting in that aspects. Like, I just find it very fascinating that you can do things that alter the outcome, both in a strategical game like poker, but also in terms of impact that things have on your performance or your ability to focus or your ability to access your knowledge, right? And also, I feel like it's definitely at some point, let's say you arrive mid stakes, I feel like most of the problems that players have are no longer technical. It's usually a misdiagnosed that they think it's a technical mistake, but the origin of it is actually not very technical. So therefore, also when I guess you start to play higher, that's just a part of the game that becomes more interesting because there is a bigger edge there. I think like what sets the best players apart from the rest is their ability to execute mostly. Um, yeah.
yeah, I would obviously be inclined to agree given my space, but I think you're right. I think especially today in today's day and age, there's so much poker knowledge out there, poker theory knowledge out there, so much that like everyone has access to it. Everybody, a lot of people know the ideas. It's like, can you mix that together in your mind and come up with an action now? Like, can you actually come up with something to do that most people run into?
Yeah, I love something that Owen Masur said in our podcast, the reigning world champ of the Catching Game Streets, right? He said the ability to isolate the most important factor in the hand, and that's nowadays a big part of how I would diagnose a mistake. The people, like you said, there's a lot of knowledge, and people know a lot, or I should probably now straight away correct this. They are aware of a lot, right? Uh, knowing is when awareness survives pressure. So under pressure, they suddenly don't know a lot, right? And then their minds start to spiral, and there's all these things that they are aware of, but they fail to isolate the most important factor in the hand, which they actually have to isolate to make a good decision. So then usually they make a bad decision because they just cling on to whatever was present at the moment, usually very bias driven, and then that leads to repeated mistakes usually.
Yeah, I mean, this is why so much of my coaching and my background, I don't know if you know about how much about my background, but I do a lot of like meditation retreats. So I sit about 2 long retreats a year, ranging between 10 days and a month. And a lot of what I have seen that is really useful for people is the skill of what you hinted at here, but of awareness. Like having like attention is kind of your most basic resource as a person. Like what you attend to really frames everything about how you see the situation. And even deeper than that, what you attend to, you're training your brain what matters in this moment. So anytime an experience happens and then you attend to a particular thing, you train your brain, that's the thing that matters. And the thing for most people, and this is true even at the highest level. So I think what you're saying about performance being like the skill you can get at high levels, I think we haven't even come close to how good we can get in this domain at the highest level. But when you don't attend with intention, when you don't have this skill of being able to choose what you attend to in any moment, like this thing's happening and I can attend with some intentionality, some agency, you're kind of just at the whim of good luck. Like if you happen to attend to the right thing and you happen to build habits attending to the thing that matters, then over time you will do a better and better job at knowing what matters in that moment and training your brain what matters. But even for great players in certain moments, they just have bad habits of what they attend to, and they actually don't have the skill or have developed the skill to have some intention with how they attend, and to just like choose a different thing to attend to in that moment. And it's a really interesting skill.
Yeah, I mean, it all starts with awareness, right? If you want to improve either technically or mentally or whatever, it all starts with awareness, right? Getting a clear picture of what's actually going on. And then, like you said, because what you said about the focus and what you pay attention to, what you pay attention to is often not rational, right? Especially when you're in the heat of the moment, emotions take over, bias take over, and the bias actually decides what you pay attention to. It's no longer a voluntarily focus point. It's just your bias is like, okay, I decide now what's important. Usually, your own safety or like safety of protection of your ego or protection of fear. And then it tries to find something to attach to. And then from there on, we make bad decisions, right? So it's interesting that you mentioned that. And it all starts with awareness, right? That you become aware of your bias. You become aware of the narratives and of the stories you create that lead up to you making a mistake in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting though, because this thing though is like, I do a little pushback about this, like the way we describe this, like to say it's not rational. I think your brain is inherently rational. Like your brain and nervous system is inherently rational. It's always deciding to attend to the thing that's most important to it. Thank you all so much for watching. The full episode with Rene goes live tomorrow, August 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. See you then.